Got my new microphone. So my sound levels should be a lot higher this time and moving forward. So, Mindstone Radio, tapping in with everyone. It's your boy, Judah Ken. Man, just giving everyone an update on everything. Because I know people have been wondering again about my hiatus. Like, man, where he at? Where he been? Why he not consistent? And yeah, I know it's not really good to not be consistent, when it comes to social media and these platforms, especially when you do have, an audience that is interested in some of the things that you may uh y- you have to say, your topics, the things you want to talk about. Um well, today's topic, is regarding, I don't want to say my health, like I'm about to give out bad news or anything, but it's just it is pertaining to some matters regarding my health and just what has taken place, and what I'm trying to do to keep everything above ground. That's a hell of a line. Keep everything above water. Shit, I want to say above ground. Of course, we all want to be above ground. But yeah. Not too long ago, man. Not too long ago, I had like an infection. You know, my fam was over here, and I was aware something was off a little bit. I was relaxing. I felt normal, but I knew something just wasn't right. And that day, I normally eat a big breakfast, something good, just waffles, uh, turkey, bacon, eggs, something like that. When w- as I was kind of resting, just looking at TV, messing with my computer, I'm saying to myself like, I hope they're not cooking anything because I knew I wasn't going to eat it. So, I kind of already had my mind made up. And unfortunately, man, when they came out and brought me the plate to feed me, uh, I was like, I can't, I don't have an appetite. I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat it. And she was like, it's okay. But she knew something was off because that's not normal of me to not eat my food. And probably a few days later, um, maybe 2 days later, that morning, um, I felt, oh, I had chills. I had chills. And, I know my body. I know when, you know, uh, I got that numb feeling, like pins in the needles everywhere. If you've, let me give some examples. When your arm or your leg falls asleep, and it feels real cold. So, but I thought, maybe it was the room's temperature, you know, as far as my shoulders and the areas where I do get sensation, so I believe um I asked a few people here, like, excuse me. I have to talk about that too. Um, I was just asking, like, hey, is it cold in here? Like, is the temperature low, like in the house? Like as far as the the windows being open, the door being open, like, is there a cold breeze? Is there a cold breeze? And they like, nah, it's normal. It's cool, but it's a little warm, so I'm like, okay, I think I got the chills because I feel cold, and so they asked if I wanted to go to the hospital, kind of check it out, and how long I've been feeling like that. And I said it's been for sometime now, few days, probably overnight. I believe it started at night, so that's what threw me off. You know how it's crisp at night and it gets kind of cold and chilly. I mean, unless you got your heaters on at night, then that's different. But me, I kind of have a fan next to me. I have another one circulating in the room, and there's they strong, they good. I like them. One was a gift. It's next to my bed. I keep it on low, or depending on it, just depends on the temperature. So I kind of adjust it before everyone goes to bed. And I'm like, all right, turn it on, put it on two, put it on three, but as like I said, when it gets like 3 a.m., four, you get that little chill. So I thought that led into the morning because I felt it real, like it felt good to some extent, but it remained, like I didn't start shivering just yet, but it was there. So, yeah, I brought it up, when I mentioned it, like, yeah, then, if it's not cold, I mean, in here, I think I got the chills, but I feel cool. I didn't feel like, my blood pressure may have been high or low. It kind of fluctuates. It tends to be low a lot. So, I mean, we don't check here on a daily as far as the instruments and the devices to do so. I mean, we do have the stethoscope and the blood pressure cuff, and they do have the experience to use it. But like like right now, I could have like a 84 over over 50, and I wouldn't know. But how I am now is to me is normal. Like I'm cool, I'm chilling. I can, hey, ask my fam, like, hey, can I get something to eat, some fruit, some water, something like that, and feel normal. Somebody come over, I could put on the game, put on a movie, I feel normal. But if a nurse comes over and they check and they like, oh, what's wrong? Or, so but back to what I was saying. So yeah, man, uh the suggestion to go to the hospital was brought up, and I was like, man, I'm gonna wait it out and see what happens. I do that a lot. Like I'll just kind of let it go into the day. Cause like I said, I feel normal. Like this is past time. Like I'm cool. So, but I'm aware, like I'm paying attention to my body. Like, okay, there's some signals there. But I called him back and I was like, yeah, you can take me. Yeah, I'll go. And when I got there and we checked in and triage, I started the sweating, but the sweating was for both, for a few reasons. So soon as I get placed into my chair, when my bottom hits that chair and the weight of me sitting down or being let down into my seat, it that pressure causes my body to react, and I'll go autonomic dysreflexia. And briefly, if I haven't mentioned autonomic dysreflexia, it's basically, when you're quadriplegic or you have paralysis. You know what? I can't speak for everyone else, but as far as my knowledge and experience with me as a quadriplegic, my body sends signals, uh, neuro, neurological signals, uh, you know, um, that alert me that something is going on. Like I'm in pain. Hey, you sat on a needle, or uh, you sat on a pin. Um, your catheter is clogged, so your urine is coming out from you know that area. Or same thing with the number two. So like it could let me know like I need to use the restroom. So it gives you signals for all types of reasons that if I wasn't paralyzed, I would easily respond. Get up, go to the bathroom naturally, S- second nature. But since I can't, um, or if I, scratch my, stepped on something on my foot, a nail, like, oh, I feel it. I'm gonna respond, you know, get the nail and clean the area. But since I can't feel these things, if a nail went through my foot, I would probably get a strong migraine, like the migraines that throb, that make you feel like, oh God, this is not cool. Like put me down. Um, I will probably be sweating real hard, profusely at the same time, and I will probably get lightheaded, short of breath, like lethargic, kind of like it'll be hard to sit up. They would have to control my chair. It would just be, it's just not a good feeling. But that's autonomic dysreflexia. You know, um, so I had those symptoms as soon as I sat in my chair. So I immediately started sweating. And so when I got to the hospital, um, blood pressure raised. No, no, no. Was the blood pressure high that day? The blood pressure was either high, very high, or very low. But, the lady, the nurse in triage, she saw that, you know, um, I believe they call it hypertension. Could be wrong, but don't quote me on that. But if you Google it, that's cool. Place it place it in the comments. Um but yeah, man, just they took me to a room immediately, a room in the ICU, and just got me situated. They didn't take they did take me out my chair. Wait, yeah, they did, and placed me in the bed, and got the IVs going. Uh, they kind of requested everything: CT scan, MRI, you know, um, EKGs, so uh, it was just a lot going on. You know, um, I had my UTI, and the urine was starting to look crazy, like a lot of calcium chunks and sediment was coming out of my bladder that, although we changed the bag with a brand new one, and the tubing and everything was clean, when we got to the hospital, like, that stuff was a different color, you know, uh it was just weird, you know what I mean? I don't know if it was from the medication or what, but my body was dealing with infections, infections, plural, infections from the UTI, which they had to do the culture, and they got the results from that, and it was pretty strong. That's why I had to get on the IV, and I even had to get home health so that they can provide me with a P line, and I had to do they had to do my IV at home for another 7 days, you know, uh, of a particular antibiotic and another antibiotic by mouth. Yeah, the urine was not doing well. And then we had the pressure ulcers. Um, I believe they were infected also. And they did provide wound care and the wound vacuum treatment. And I'm still doing that at home now. We were provided with the equipment, and I have a nurse that comes in on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays to do to change my the dressings, I'll say, on my posterior for both sides for the wounds. And she's a damn good nurse, Filipino lady. She's great, you know. She gets here early. She got good energy, and she takes care of me. So all praises to the Most High. I'm thankful. But I believe it was infected uh lightly, you know. So we had that. That's two. And then they noticed that I kept coughing. Not like I'm doing now. Um, not like I'm doing now. Well, not coughing, but as far as trying to clear my throat. But like I said, it's leading into that. Um, so prior to coming into the hospital, I used to have a lot of phlegm build up or mucus build up in my chest. And You know, to me, I treat it natural. I'll cough, 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 hack, hack to get it up and kind of just swallow it. Yeah, I know that's nasty. They're like, oh, put it in the comments, put it in the comments. You shouldn't swallow that. Yeah, I know. But I'm not going to be that person that got a cup. Give me my cup again with phlegm and mucus filled up halfway, over 4 ounces. We're not doing that. So, I rather just, swallow. It's no damage, it's no danger. I'm cool. But s- it's been happening a lot. So when I got to the hospital, my white blood cell count was very high. Like they were doing blood transfusions. I think I had like 3 blood transfusions, you know, because they were concerned like your white blood cell count is extremely high, and that just means that it's fighting off all these infections. And, they were concerned about my normal red cells count being low. And they did. They did those blood transfusions. But I had pneumonia also. So, they found out that I had pneumonia. And I couldn't even tell. I didn't know. I wasn't aware, but uh I believe I was lucky to spit for one of the nurses in a cup, and they were able to finally test the phlegm that was in my chest and determine that uh, I did have pneumonia. So we had the pneumonia, the UTI, the bed sores, and then the big one after doing the MRI. And no, it was mainly from the MRI and the X-ray. My kidneys, well, my kidney on my right, I have a kidney stone, and it was 1.8 centimeters. You may have to Google that if you want to, see exactly how much 1.8 centimeter is. That will give you an idea of how big this particular kidney stone was or is that's currently in my bladder. Uh, you know, leave comments, man. Can I prayers in the comments? Prayers in the comments, man. Prayers, man. I do when I do my prayers, I do pray, and thank the most high God for looking over those that I pray for, my loved ones, friends and family, and my church body, brothers and sisters, the elders, the leadership, you know, just the whole gathering. And I pray for all the children. So, I just want y'all to know I do that. But yeah, man. And they said like there were more there. It's just, there's a main one that's blocking uh a lot of the infected urine. And they believe that it affecting the filtration of this kidney was going to put me into sepsis. So I was going to go septic, which I actually did, but they were able to jump on it real quick, and I'm thankful that they did. Because by the time I was in the hospital, as far as being in the bed and being admitted, I mean, I was just relaxing. You know, everyone was watching my vitals. You know, and I was cool, but um, I gotta this. So I'm gonna have to do a continuation because the second the second part, you know, I just need to come back for that one regarding the surgery that had to happen, and I need to catch my breath. I start getting winded and it just be hard to talk. But um, like I said, just keep me in prayers, man. The infections are gone so far, but when I did go to urology recently, they did check my urine because he had concerns about the sweating profusely, that he thought I was symptomatic to a UTI. So he they'll probably be calling me to let a home health nurse come to put a PIC line in my bicep again so that I can get another IV of antibiotics. So I'll tap in. I'm gonna come right back. Same look, same image, same channel, same position, but part two. Love y'all and thanks for the support.